Strategies change, tactics change, but your values remain the compass. We talked about this on the second day of the month. Why is that? Why do our values serve as a guidepost to everything else that we do in our business and actually in our lives? Let's talk about this today. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 223 of our Supersize Your Business Annual Challenge. All this year, we are talking about ways to grow and scale our business every single day so that we can do one little thing a day and see how amazing and how easy it is to supersize our business just by doing one simple thing every day, listening to something and doing and taking action on every day. Single daily action, one of my favorite strategies. And is it really a strategy or is it just who we are? I like to think it's just who I am. I do something every day. And if I can help you to do that too and supersize and scale your business, that's what I'm here for. Well, today we're talking about the 7 Why exercise. Why are we talking about the 7 Why exercise? Because to me, it is foundational to understanding ourselves and our business better and why we do the things we do. Now, some of the reasons we do things don't have a solid why behind them. And so we want to uncover those things and then question and ask ourselves, well, does it still make sense to be doing that thing? Most of our core beliefs and core values come from before we were 7 years old. Now, if you're the president or the CEO of your business, do you still want to be making decisions that you made when you were a 5-year-old for those reasons? No. So this cool exercise I learned from Dean Graziosi in January of 2020. And I remember because it was the pandemic year. Now in January when I learned it, I didn't realize it was going to become such an integral part of what I share every single month. At least once a month, I talk about the 7 Why exercise. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've shared it with individuals, thousands, literally thousands of times I've shared it with people, because it's one of those super duper powerful tools that you can use to understand yourself and your business better. And when we understand ourselves better, we make better choices, we make better decisions, we choose to live in alignment with our goals versus just letting the world outside of us flim-flam us around. No flim-flamming here. So the 7 Why exercise, and here's my caution. Only use it for yourself and your own business. Why? Because we have enough trouble understanding our own business and ourselves, much less trying to assume. And remember what assuming does? Yes, it does. I remember learning that in probably junior high. It was probably the first time I heard the assume makes an ASS out of you and me, right? And it just stuck. Why? Because it's one of those things that you remember, and it's so fitting in so many situations. So we're not going to assume. We're going to understand ourselves and our business better by asking a series of 7 why questions. This month, we're focusing on spirituality. So let's pick a spiritual thing. I'm going to ask, why am I, and why did I choose the problem or challenge area that I'm working on in the SOAP framework, which we'll talk about in a minute, step 3A for action. It really analyze alternatives and action. But first, we want to get through the 7 Why exercise. And I am asking myself, why do I want to have a spiritual component to my Supersize Your Business school community? And what does that look like? How am I going to make that happen? But first off, I want to figure out, why do I want that? What's at the root of why I think that's important and why I am creating it through the SOAP framework? And so, why do I want a spiritual component to my business? And then the first thing that pops into your head, write it down on the next line. Then ask yourself why. That becomes the question, why, for the next level. And we go 7 levels deep, and we end up with an epiphany at the bottom. I have yet to do this on anything where I didn't learn something or some little nuance about myself or my business that I hadn't thought of before. Every single time, and literally done it hundreds and hundreds of times. That's how powerful this tool is. So one of our action items today, because we're going to have 2, because we're doing the SOAP framework, is to do this 7 Why exercise on any spiritual question that you have. You can ask it on anything, and it won't give you the answers to the universe, but it will give you the answers of your universe. All right. That is our action item for today. SOAP framework, step 3A. A for SOAP. This came out of COVID too, right? The whole SOAP framework. A stands for alternatives. Analyze alternatives or options that we brainstormed yesterday, and we're going to use a tool to analyze them. Sometimes I share different tools all the time. My favorite's the urine analysis, but we're not doing that one today. We are doing the sophisticated, because that's not sophisticated enough, pros and cons analysis. We want to analyze the top 3 alternatives, and how I decide top 3 is what are the ones I'm most likely to take some action toward today, because it's easy to do, and we just want to take action toward that to reinforce that we're going from where we are to where we want to be, and that we're making progress toward that so we can get momentum. So what we're going to do is take 3 of those things we brainstormed yesterday. You did brainstorm them, right? Yes, good. Probably in your handy dandy annual challenge notebook. So we're going to apply the pros and cons. So we're going to write the options 1, 2, 3, whatever they are, and then we're not going to brainstorm. We're just going to write what are all the reasons to do this, and what are all the pros for it, and what are all the cons. It's kind of like the plus or minus one. That's a decision-making tool my dad taught me when I was a little girl, and I still use it today, because a lot of choices and decisions, they're not life or death. We just need to decide and take action. Will we make the wrong decision? Sometimes, excuse me. Of course we will. I don't think, here's the rub with making the wrong decision and the wrong choice. There really is no wrong decision and wrong choice. If we take action toward what we want, we're moving in the right direction. If we discover later that, oh, I don't really want to do this, this is the wrong path, we just stop and reverse or do something different or change directions. We don't need permission to do that. We just need to give ourselves permission to do it. So I, as your fairy godmother, give you permission to do whatever you want in your business, as long as it doesn't harm other human beings. That is my caveat. I don't share my power with anybody who wants to make the world a worse place. No. All right. So pros and cons, and take action. You don't get just to analyze and then not do anything. Whenever we make a decision, we want to take action as quickly as we possibly can toward reinforcing that decision. If I find something that I want to buy or purchase, if I don't buy it right then and there and right away, chances are I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy it because life gets busy. Life gets in the way. Our priorities sometimes change unless we're coming off of our core values, which I highly recommend. Will make more consistent, better decisions for us and lead our life in the right direction for us more often than not. All right. Any questions about this? 7 whys for your spiritual, and you don't have to do for the soap framework topic. You can do whatever you want. I just like to apply it to what we're talking about right now. And pros and cons of the 3 options and take action. Share in the comments below, done, or whatever else you're willing to share with us as far as you're taking action, or the 7 why exercise. I always like hearing how people like the 7 why exercise. I find it profoundly powerful every time I do it, and I do it once a month right along with you. All right. Any questions? Hit me up. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.